Hey y'all, so let's talk about boundaries today. Before I talk about the types of boundaries, I just want to share a quote from Brene Brown that says, "Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves, even when we risk disappointing others." So let that sink in for a little bit, that your love for self should be first and foremost in your mind. If you don't love yourself, how can you expect anybody else to love you? Or how can you expect to properly love anybody else? So loving yourself above all else is the focus here. We're gonna love on us, love on you. The boundaries we're gonna talk about today are gonna be physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, time boundaries, intellectual boundaries, and material boundaries. So the first boundary, physical boundaries, it involves your personal space. It involves the time you set aside for resting. It involves eating. Those are the type of boundaries that go with how you feel physically, with your physical self. So if you know you have close talkers at work, and you've continually backed up from them, you've asked them, you try to do it subtly. Sometimes people don't take hints, so you need to go on and just say, okay, well, I need to back up because you're in my personal space. You can say that because it's your personal space. You need to set that boundary without feeling bad for hurting somebody's feelings or disappointing the other person. You need to love yourself enough to enforce what you feel and honor your feelings. As far as resting and eating, if you're a night shift nurse or a night shift worker like I am, and you have someone that they work during the day, so they're like, oh girl, on Wednesday we going out to lunch. You haven't been out to lunch with us in forever. Girl, you gotta come. And you know that you worked on Tuesday night and you're gonna be exhausted. Reschedule. It's okay to reschedule. Whether or not you have been out with them in years, it doesn't matter. You need to do what's best for your body. You need to do what's gonna be in the form of loving yourself. And if it's gonna be sleeping enough so that you're not a grouch, so that you can participate in life when you wake up, then do that. Rest. Forget that lunch. There will be other days to go to lunch. The next type of boundary we're going to talk about is emotional boundaries, and that's more about your feelings and your energy. I'm really big on feelings, I'm really big on vibes, and when I first meet people, I get a vibe. And if I don't like that vibe, I proceed very cautiously, very cautiously. And you should do the same thing. Those feelings and that energy, some people are just negative Nellies. They will find something negative about every single situation. They could win $10,000 and still be like, oh, well, this isn't even enough to pay off my bills. Instead of being gracious that they've gotten the $10,000, they find a negative connotation for everything. And if that's not the type of energy that you want around you, that's not the type of energy that you want to absorb, remove yourself from that person. And I know sometimes it's hard because that person is a member of our family or live in the house with us, but you got to do what you got to do and stay away from that energy that causes those negative feelings within you, and it kind of sucks you in. You can't let it suck you in. You cannot let it suck you in. The next boundary is a time boundary. And I think the biggest thing is, the biggest violation of this boundary is asking professionals for their time without paying them. So I know we all have, that one friend or a couple of friends or whatever that do a certain thing that we like, hey, let me ask you a question. And one question would be okay, a couple of questions will be okay. But if this is something that is constant, like a lot of people, if they know I'm a nurse, they're gonna call me every single time they go to the doctor. Hey, so my lab work says this. My doctor said this. What does that mean? So when I'm not at work, I'm not trying to be a nurse. I'm not trying to nurse anybody. I'm not trying to look at lab work. I don't care about any medical jargon. When I'm not at work, I'm a mom, I'm a wellness coach, I'm a wife. Those are the things that I'm focused on when I'm not at work. I dedicate 36 hours a week to work, to being a nurse. That's it. That's the only time I want to do that. So, sometimes we have to let people know, hey, you know what, you're gonna have to go see your doctor about that, or hey, call your doctor's office. The nurses there can help you out. And a lot of us, we don't want to say that because a lot of times they're family members, and we don't want to say, hey, you know what, call your doctor's office. They'll be able to help you out, because we don't want to hurt their feelings. But guess what? That's encroaching on our time. So solving their problem for them is encroaching on your time. So you're doing what they're asking, that's giving you less time to do the things that are important to you. So again, loving yourself even when you risk disappointing others. The next boundary we're going to talk about is intellectual boundaries, and that is more of respecting other people's ideas, other people's opinions. And if you have someone in your life that you feel every time y'all have a conversation, they know everything, they know better than you, they've done it better than you, then that's not someone that you need in your life at all. Those type of people have no respect for the ideas of others, and that's violating your intellectual boundaries. So you're allowed to feel your feelings, you're allowed to have your ideas, have your opinions, and no one else should come in and be like, oh no, that's trash. Yeah, what? You think like, oh, no. That's absolutely not cool. And you don't need people like that in your life. You need people in your life who are going to respect your ideas, respect your opinions, and you guys, even if it's something that you disagree on, that you can agree to disagree. Those are the type of people you need in your life. Encouraging people who are going to respect those intellectual boundaries. The final boundary we're going to talk about is material boundaries. So the material boundaries involve things like your possessions, like your clothes, if you got a little sister, your car, your money, things like that. So if you have someone in your life that you feel, they just don't respect your possessions, they don't respect your money, or they feel like you make more money than them, so you should always be lending and giving them money, that's not okay. That is absolutely not okay. Those type of people, you need to sit them down and say, hey, look, I'm not comfortable with this. I gave you $30 a month ago, and then next thing you know, I saw you in a brand new outfit. I saw you got rims for your car, or you got a new wig, or whatever have you, and there was no mention of my $30. If you know that you borrowed $30 from me, then you should be coming back to say, hey, here's these $30. Here's your $30 back before you do anything else. Set that boundary. So just to sum up, so we've talked about physical boundaries, emotional boundaries, time boundaries, intellectual boundaries, and material boundaries. And these boundaries are basically just a framework. It's rules, a foundation that you're setting into place in all your relationships, where you're telling people, hey, this is what I'm going to accept, this is not. And that is absolutely okay for you to tell people how you want to be treated, because not everyone picks up on signals, not everyone picks up on those little innuendos. Some people, you have to spell it out for them, and be ready to spell it out for them. And and if they can't respect your boundaries, then they're just gonna have to be okay, because you need to be strong enough, you need to be bold enough to set those boundaries and maintain those boundaries. Hold that person to those standards. And this person can be a parent, it could be a sibling, it could be someone that you're in a relationship with. It doesn't matter. You set these boundaries, and these boundaries need to be upheld. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. My contact info is in my bio. So hope you enjoyed the talk on boundaries. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to me. And I'll see you next time.